something in your life dragging you down? Well, maybe it's a relationship you need to let go. Here to let us know about that, personal life coach Alana Higginbotham. All right, you've helped a lot of people improve their lives, and sometimes that means, you know, letting some people leave them.
Absolutely.
Right? So how do we know when it's time for a relationship to end, whether it's friendship or work or romantic? How do you know?
The idea of a relationship is all-encompassing. We have relationships with people, but also places and things. And oftentimes we get the signal that it's time to let something go way before we actually do it. Because we're creatures that are conditioned to look for a reason to do something. So what ends up happening is you get that little inkling. You don't really have a reason attached to it, but you get an inkling something is not right. And we wait around oftentimes too long past the expiration date in order to actually make a move.
Yeah, so if we have that little inkling, how do we know it's not just, I don't know, some bad shrimp that we ate? And it's like really this interaction that I'm having with this person.
Well, you know, I always say that life is very simply a series of information being presented to us. And we're the ones who attach meaning to it.
Okay.
And so oftentimes what you just mentioned is the beginning of someone learning how to trust themselves, how to trust their own judgment. And you get to a place, just like building any muscle, the more that you use it, the more resistance that is applied to it, the stronger you get. And so you'll get to a place where you'll see somebody and you'll think to yourself, no, they're not for me. And you might leave the party right away.
Oh, okay. So you might catch it early on as you build that muscle.
With no explanation.
We're listening to our intuition. Could we also be seeing signs, particular signs, where it's just, you know, red flags or whatever? It's like, yeah, definitely not for you, sis.
Yeah, we call them benefits of the doubt.
Okay.
And in my experience, both personally and professionally, people who deserve the benefit of the doubt rarely ever actually need the benefit of the doubt, because their character, their resume, if you will, is consistent.
Okay.
And so the things that are coming up are just touch points to nudge you in the right direction. And you actually will get to a place where you are going to have to leave some people, places, and things that aren't necessarily bad. They just no longer fit for your journey.
Okay, so they're no longer serving you in this maybe a new phase of your life or whatever. It's time to move on.
That's it, the time to move on part.
Okay, so let's talk about how to do that, because I was just telling you, said people will delay making these moves, and it's for a reason.
It is, but it goes back to our programming. If we rise to the occasion and we trust ourselves in the smallest little way, like that guy standing over there by the magazines doesn't look too good. Something about him just isn't right. I'm going to go out the other entrance.
Right.
Now, you will never, ever know if that was really true, but it's building that muscle of trusting yourself. And the more that you do that, you come out of the programming of trying to be polite and trying to be nice, and you fall into the understanding that you're the one who's navigating this thing.
So let's walk through some situations.
Okay.
If I have a friend who I've known for decades, but I realize this is not really serving me in this phase of my life, how do I let that person go? Because I don't necessarily want to, you know, make them cry, and so that might be a side effect, but I respect this person, I value this person, but it's time to move on, and I don't want to do it in a crass way.
Well, sometimes it's just about not being available anymore. You know, when they reach out to you to do this or that, but it just depends on the relationship. Oftentimes, if you're going to spend time talking it out, it may actually be a relationship that you want to nurture and keep, but recategorize. People look at people and relationships like we're just supposed to keep going to the baby showers and always going to the Mother's Day brunches and hating life because we don't want to hurt someone else's feelings. And in a lot of cases, they're ready to move on as well.
Yeah, so you talked about recategorizing. So instead of this being my roll dog every day, I'm putting them into what? I see you twice a year, maybe.
She's somebody I used to know.
Somebody I used to know.
I think it's a song about that.
Okay. It's a good song.
It
too.
really is.
So if we no longer really respond to this person, is that ghosting?
It really has to do with your intention. Everything is about intention, whether we're talking about relationships or other things.
Yeah.
But it's your intention. You're not intending to hurt this person, but you're actually intending to protect yourself.
Let's talk about romantic relationships, because that's
Let's
a big
talk
one for
about it.
folks, not knowing how to let that person go. They definitely don't meet the standards that you're looking for. So how do we do that? Because we have seen some examples of terrible breakup lines, but how do you do it respectfully?
It's very similar to a non-romantic relationship. When it's time to go, it's time to go. Emotions oftentimes may be a little thicker. Maybe you've moved in with that person and breaking up with them means you have to get your finances in order. If you're in danger in that romantic relationship, I say at all costs, move yourself away from that person. But don't allow your fixation on potential to blind you from what's actually sitting in front of you.
Woo, that's a word I know a lot of people needed. Okay, I want you to act this out. Okay, break up with me. Alana, go ahead, break up with me.
What's the situation? Like, why am I breaking up with her? Can I make it up?
I'm your friend.
Okay, you're my friend, and we've been friends for, let's say, 20 years.
Ooh, long time, girl.
Here's what's true. There's probably been several times along the way that I have noticed it's time for me to move in a different direction. Okay?
Okay.
And so generally, depending on our relationship and how much I trust myself and my decisions, I'm going to do some feeling out. So I'm going to start being more honest with the person.
With the things that you're seeing
Absolutely.
that don't work. Okay.
The things that you want me to do that I don't want to do.
Okay.
And that will oftentimes, if you're unsure, that will oftentimes tell you, oh, when I'm my real authentic self, she has a problem. When I'm clapping for her and I'm telling her how amazing she is, no problem. But when I have that same energy where she needs to be held accountable, now it's a problem. And so generally, if I feel like you're the kind of person that's even mature enough to accept that conversation, I'm just going to tell you, you know what, I've decided I'm going to move around a little bit differently. Things are changing. I'm going in a different direction, and I respect the direction you're going in. I'm going to do something a little different. So you're not going to hear from me, and I might say as much, or I might be honest to the degree. You're not going to be hearing from me anymore.
Okay.
Or I just might stop interacting with that person.
Okay, ouch, just a little bit, just a little bit. Okay, so you did mention nurturing relationships. How might we go about that if we do feel like we want to keep this person in our lives, but we don't really know how to get back to where we were, if that's where we need to be?
You can oftentimes tell that just by watching. Does this person move in a way that is conducive or nurturing to the life that I'm living, right, or to where I'm trying to go? And if the answer is yes, then you probably just need to trust them enough to handle what it is you have to say. And if you do it, going back to what I said before, everything is about intention. If you do it in a way that your intention is to love on them, then what they do after that is going to tell you everything you need to know going forward.
Okay. Ooh, you have told me everything I need to know going forward, ma'am.
I came to do it.
I appreciate that. All right.